Feature hub.
It's a little bit like an ASMR air conditioning factory.
I know, I don't know what's causing that. God. Let's turn down the mic.
It's a little bit like an ASMR air conditioning factory.
I know, I don't know what's causing that. God.
Does that work? It's a little bit like ASMR air conditioning factory.
I think Galileo just needs to invest in like a professional voice acting mic.
He has one.
Oh. I think Galileo just needs to invest in like a professional voice acting mic. Well, that's your fault for not hooking it up.
He has one.
I can run get it for you.
Oh. I think Galileo just needs to invest in like a professional.
Hey everyone.
Can you put the link in chat, please? So, to the Twitch. You can sing.
Yeah, let's not.
Don't please stop.
Oh no. Oops. Oops, the link. Oh.
Okay, where do we go? Let's see where let's get here. Make sure we've got all of our folks.
I on Twitch I don't hear you, but this is me or
Talking.
There's no audio on Twitch.
There's no audio on Twitch.
yeah, you don't have audio on Twitch, but I hearing myself when I'm commenting to you. I'm hearing myself, but I don't hear you speaking.
All right, let me fix that real quick.
Yeah. Oh, now I hear you. You just heard.
Oh, yeah, it's very low now. It was very low volume.
Okay, my concern is if I talk loudly that you'll hear my insides making digestion noises.
Oh, now you're clear. Now you're clear on Discord.
Now am I
Sounds
clear?
okay now.
Does it sound good? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
get started then. I don't know what was going on yesterday, but today we're fine. Okay, hi Internet. We're streaming live to YouTube, Twitch, and Steam. Here is our kind of empty today, actually. Where is everybody? All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Today we're just going to be doing a general feedback session. There's a lot to talk about. I'm sure everybody has many, many thoughts that are valid and some thoughts that are not valid, and I'm excited to delve into which ones are and aren't and make those judgments in front of people. Okay. Ooh, this is so cool, sir. This is awesome. Anyway, okay. Let's start introducing ourselves. Stanley, you're up.
Hi, I'm Stanley. I'm product director for Sansar.
I'm Galileo. I am the community manager for Sansar.
Hey there, I'm Kara. I'm the product manager for Sansar.
I'm Landon. I'm the chief product officer supporting Sansar.
And I'm Harley. I'm the team lead for Sansar support.
And that's all of us. What a motley crew. What a motley crew. Okay, let's just get at it. I think that we can just start. I think Kara, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just an hour-long Q&A feedback session, yeah?
Yep, it is.
Bring that feedback. Oh, as a reminder, a good reminder. All questions should be in chat. So, again, we want to limit the sort of random talking just so we can make sure to capture everything. Again, if we're in a topic, so if somebody asks about Marvelous Designer Adjustment, somebody can follow that up with a quick question. But we want to try to keep everything in chat just so it's organized. And we don't want to miss people's questions, which might happen anyway, so no promises. Okay.
And if there are no questions, should we tell them about the events going on today and around TwitchCon?
Yes, we can do that as well. Let's make sure. Let's see if there's any questions first while I pull open our meeting notes here. Zentri's feedback for the week is that events can be set as a reminder, but we don't get that reminder when it goes live. How do we feel about that?
Bowden's not here. He's the best person to answer that. How are you expecting to get a reminder? Like we have a notification system in the client. Are you expecting an out of client reminder? Okay. All right. So we can definitely look into how to best remind you that the event is happening when you're in Sansar. If you are looking for a way to be notified when you are outside of Sansar, that's a little more complicated. But yeah, it's definitely a concern of ours. It's Bowden's realm of expertise, and he's traveling to TwitchCon at the moment. But I will definitely bring it up with him.
Excellent. Yeah, so a lot of us are going to be at TwitchCon, so the crew's a little late for the rest of this week and the weekend. Also, just wanted to remind everybody, I know I mentioned this in Discord, there's a few things going on. Go ahead and talk about this now, then we can get to the questions and whatnot. We have a ton of big events coming up. We have Blaster Jacks today. That's going to be huge for us. I told you all in Discord that we work with streamers, and so there'll be a lot of people seeing this across the internet. So it's a good time for you to show up with your, if you're a creator and you want to show up with the stuff that you create, or you want to show off your best avatars, they're going to be pretty obvious because streamers are obviously streamers. So they'll be around. So make sure to say hello to them and, do whatever you want, I guess. Within reason. All right. I know some of you perked up there. Also, we have another big streamer coming in named Jesse Cox, and he's going to be doing the dating game, which, if you remember the Sansar game show, that'll be happening tomorrow. We're going to be doing one of those games. I might ask for some of your help if anybody wants to be on a big streamer's stream. He'll be streaming it out to, I don't know, 1 million followers or something crazy like that. So let me know if you're into that. We can talk about it. Basically, you'd be one of the contestants on the show. What else is going on? We have a ton of stuff. We'll be at TwitchCon this weekend, so you'll be seeing pictures and stuff come from that. We'll be having a live party at TwitchCon, so that might be interesting for you to go in and meet some folks. There'll be again, we'll have a couple of special guest streamers in our TwitchCon suite, which you can go ahead and meet them. What else do we have going on? I guess there's a ton, right? I guess that's about it. Yeah, well, go ahead, Stanley.
When you're done, I'm going to follow up on the event notification.
Okay. And then also we have the Future Fashion Collection was just released. Thank you, everybody, for submitting. There can still be stuff added to that. I know that people might not have been super clear about what that was. Basically, I'll go ahead and post the link in chat here. It's a collection, so new folks, especially streamers and their followers and whatnot, can find futures to close to wear to the Blaster Jacks concert. If you want to be in that collection, if you have futuristic stuff, please just let me know in Discord. Or you can let me know here via DM, and I'll go ahead and see what I can do about getting your items in that collection. I'll post the collection in the chat as soon as I can get to it here. Here it is. Go ahead and look through it. Some of you are already in there. Some of you who submitted stuff will see yourself in there. Anything is possible, so to go in there. That's not just clothes, but also accessories and avatars themselves. So that's open to you all. Okay, I think that's all I have. Am I missing anything? Anybody remember? Okay, I think that's it. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the questions.
Yeah, just to follow up on the event notifications. We do have more capability, as Zero Cheese mentioned, and thanks Bina for the reminder, on the web browser. If you mark that you are interested on the Sansar website, we do enable browser notifications. You have to opt into that. Additionally, you can connect the events on Sansar to your third-party calendars if you use Google Calendar, Apple, Outlook, or Yahoo. We enable you to connect to any of those if those are your preferred calendar apps.
Excellent. Okay. All right, let's go to the questions in. As sort of a clarification, the Blaster Jacks concert today is looking like it's going to be our largest event that we've ever had. So I hopefully you all stick around today. That's going to be a big test for us, not only on the technical side, but also, to see how well these events go off. So I hope everybody shows up. All right, so I'm getting to the questions now. Cerberus asks, question, is it a known issue that crashing on upload can cause, Cerberus, I might need you to clarify this question. I'm not really understanding what you've written here.
Yeah, I had it yesterday that somehow I was crashing on uploading an object, and afterwards I was trying again to upload the objects, and it wouldn't let me upload it anymore at all. So there was just the loading screen coming up, and I let it load for 20 minutes. I first was checking my internet connection if that's the issue, but it wasn't. And after that, I figured out I couldn't upload anything anymore in Sansar. Like no file, nothing worked. I always got stuck in loading screen. So I cleared my cache completely. So all the cache files I deleted. And after that, it didn't still work. And so I uninstalled Sansar, reinstalled it. And again, I couldn't upload anything. And then someone gave me the hint to, after uninstalling Sansar, to shut down my PC, restart it again. Delete the folders another folder in the install, which was still there, delete it manually, and then I got it working again. So that's what I had to go through yesterday to be able to upload again.
Well, sounds like a two-second thing, so let's go ahead and move on to the next question.
I mean, if I can comment on that briefly, I think probably, so I unfortunately never received the report on that. We would probably be able to dig in a little bit more to potential causes of that issue.
I sent
Had
a
we had
bug
like
report yesterday.
as a ticket?
I don't know, like I just went to bug reports, like on the, I don't know where to send the tickets, it says like bug reports, and there I can make a new case, and I opened it, and yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we didn't get it in the support tickets, so maybe that is going somewhere else. So I'm gonna dig into that a little bit after this meeting.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like potentially, while that did fix your issue, it might have been an overly aggressive fix, given that the last step for you was to reboot your computer and delete all those files. It probably would have been sufficient to start with that rather than complete uninstall.
What maybe also could help to find the problem, I had like a similar problem before. There it was just like bound to one single texture. So I was uploading it, and it always gave me like an error with something with cache, it said. I don't know, but I figured out it was one particular texture in my file. So I checked the texture in Photoshop. It was just like a common texture, PNG, right format and everything, but something must have gone wrong with the cache file there. And even when I was changing the texture under a different name, it wouldn't let me upload the object with that particular texture. Only if I change something in the texture itself, so like a few pixel or like the size.
Like something about the caching of that particular texture itself got corrupted.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And, but that's like, that can be totally crazy to find if you have.
Oh yeah, it definitely can.
Yeah.
Thank you for the report.
Okay.
I'm sorry about the frustration there, sir. Okay.
Absolutely.
Next we have Disney Huntress, a newbie to Sansar. I don't think I've ever seen Disney before. The mute feature doesn't keep people The mute feature doesn't keep people muted past the initial world that the muting happened in. Is that an intentional feature? Bug? Delightful quirk?
Changes, but I believe that should be a bug. We'll look into that. Thank you. Thanks for reporting it.
Let's make sure. Can we get Karen megaphoned real quick?
Yes, Mega. I think she turned down her mic itself.
Oh, Kara, yikes. Yikes, faux pas. Okay.
Is it better?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you from the back of the room. So, next question. Zero Cheese. Outside of Sansar has the web browser notification for events, but in world, when you are not on the browser, it is missed. Yes, I think that's a follow-up to the original question. So that's just some feedback, I think. Okay. Harmonic C. Let me make sure I've got this right. People who buy things from the market directly through Sansar Viewer while they are connected online and not through the web itself cannot rate products. It doesn't have the option to rate the product. Can you please implement the rating for products inside of Sansar at the moment of purchase directly from the Sansar Viewer?
Yeah, so I can answer this one. So we haven't really been looking into ratings, and it's not really on our priority list to add it into the client. From our recollection, majority of the community doesn't even use ratings, as well as I know some of the creators don't even like it, and I believe in the past we've been asked to remove ratings completely, so we haven't been touching the rating system currently. So that's one of the things we're evaluating is whether to, keep the rating system and change it to a different system in the future, or to move it into the client as well, so other users can use it as well.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Just a comment on this, that high rating for everyone on the products also increase the demands for this product. I mean, I think that rating is good, but this is my opinion, unless the other creators don't like it, but this is my opinion.
I do hope that we can have a discussion about those ratings and we're not just listening to a couple people who have a problem.
Oh, no.
Some of us have 15 years of experience with products on the marketplace, and whether ratings or reviews are a problem, so it would be nice to have a good discussion about that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't make the effect, of course. Yeah, it's open for everyone, yeah, of course.
All right. If you want to have a conversation about ratings, and go ahead and put a more broad question in chat, and then we'll get to it later today, unless you want to talk about it at a different time. Okay, DNA Elite. Is it possible to have a collaboration feature to allow creators to work together on world creations?
I know the answer to this only because it's been discussed here before. We would like to do it. It's something we would use internally as well. It's not something we have immediately planned, but we know it's very important both to you guys and to our internal team. So we definitely want to get to it at some point.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, EvoAv has a sort of complicated question here, so we're going to get to this the best we can. EvoAv's question is, I have compiled a list of big and important issues that people have voiced on many different occasions. My question is, how many of these can we expect to be done in 2020? With that being said, this is the lightning round. Okay, first issue. Are you guys ready, Sansar, Sansarians, Lindens? First,
if this is just a yes/no in 2020, then sure.
This is a yes/no in 2020. That's what we're going for right now. And if it's happening in 2019, then go ahead and say 2019. There are 3 answers you can give: yes, no, 2019. That's it. Are you ready? Here we go. It's the lightning round. First.
Is maybe an okay answer?
Oh God, I was just getting started, Stanley. My momentum was up. Yeah, maybe's fine. Okay. This is the lightning round. First. Collaborative editing.
In 2020, maybe.
Second, updatable store items.
Maybe also.
This is going to be really exciting. Okay, 3, scriptable UI.
I don't think the people here know
Yeah,
that one. We'll get back
would
to
be
that.
a better person
Sorry,
to
we don't
answer
have
that.
any scripters today.
Yeah.
That is also what maybe then. All right. 4, scriptable animations and emotes.
If you mean emotes on, like, let's say you walk on the floor and then everybody dances, I think there are plans for that, so maybe.
I would say that's stronger than, it's more of a between a yes and a maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a yay-bee, which is what...
2020 or 2019?
Ooh.
I mean, they're definitely people that are gonna get really upset with me when I'm saying this, but I'll say it anyway. I think part of this is like, I'm gonna bring up the whole heels thing. Yes, we want heels, and we know that we need to do custom animations in objects to be able to do that. That's something that I want. I think it's something we should add sooner rather than later. So I'm gonna say almost certainly yes.
Almost
I
certainly
think
yes.
it's a different topic though, but okay. Sounds good.
I mean, I'm thinking that in terms of scriptable animations and objects, but I understand the whole point about the dance floors as well.
Right.
Oh man, this is why you watch NASCAR, to watch the crashes. Okay, 5 editable. Well, I can't speak. Editable AV skins.
So Avatar skins, yes. Early 2020.
Early 2020.
First few months.
Okay, first few months there. All right, 6 body deformation.
Also early 2020. So we're working on this now. And it's somewhere between either late December to early January, February. So within that time frame is what we're shooting for.
Yeah, maybe December, Kara.
Maybe.
Probably, maybe we're gonna push for it.
Maybe we're trying. We'll see.
Okay, wow.
There's a lot of things to work on it. So we're trying to get it as soon as possible. So if things go well, it could be this early December, but it's likely going to be somewhere between January, February.
Lots of dirty looks flying across the office. It's getting tense in here. Okay. Okay. Number 7, script persistence.
The same as scriptable UI. Those people aren't here, but I know that they are talking about it. So I don't even have a maybe for you yet. It's still being talked about.
The answer is I don't know.
We are actively working on it.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I just got a note from Bina. She says in capital letters, yes, come to office hours tomorrow.
Bina, where are you? Somewhere around. Okay. We're almost done here. We've got 2 more left. 8, desktop weapon holding / aiming. We need this for sure.
Also an Alex question, so maybe?
It's one of the things he'd like to do. 2020 is a long time frame, and I don't want to speak for him, but I know he wants to do it.
Okay, so that's a maybe in 2020. And then 9, this is our last one, 20+ avatar script resilience in scenes. This is a performance-related question.
Andrew, do you know the answer to that one?
What was it again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
20+ avatar script resilience in scenes. I think it's a performance question.
Yeah, I'm not equipped to answer that question. I'm sorry.
This would be a Nix one. Otherwise, we definitely want to get to more than 20 avatars, especially in the Nexus and in script-heavy scenes. So we want to do it. It's a continually growing concern of ours, and we're trying to find the best way to address it.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that was the entire list. Feel free to mop your brows, everyone. We've made it. We've come out on the other side of this with a lot of maybes. A lot of maybes. But we're thinking about everything, which is great. Okay. Next, Zentry asks, is it possible to connect MIDI keyboards to Sansar and use an instrument inside Sansar? Just wondering, LOL. I think, actually, that Granddad Got Mojo has figured this out. I also know that we had done something similar for Reggie Watts, so I think it's possible, but I don't know if it's something that's easy for everyone to do unless you are some sort of script magician. Does anybody else know? MIDI keyboards?
I think that's a good way to describe it. I certainly can make it work, but it's not just plug it in and it works. You have to install a bunch of software on your own machine.
I think if you bribe Granddad Got Mojo with real life money, he might make a tutorial, but that's up to you all. And we'll see if we can figure that out as well. Okay. Zero Cheese asks, I enjoy hosting events. However, it is sometimes difficult to manage the separate instances that get created when hosting an event. But I know sometimes it is needed depending on the type of event. Can we have an option to either use the regular main world as the event location or to create an event instance just for the event? This could also help the issues some have about events not counting towards their traffic in their worlds.
So this is a question for Bowden. Again, I mentioned he's at a TwitchCon. I can speak to a little bit of this, but he's kind of the holder of the plan for events. I can answer generally, no, we are not planning on making the option to do either, just meet in this regular world versus create an event instance of this world. Right now, the system that we've built out is primarily around creating the event instance of the world. However, we also understand there's the concern about the quote traffic not counting. That's something that we plan on addressing, and so we're aware of the problems with hosting an event. know that the system was built this way so that we can host multiple events inside single worlds. We're aware of the problems with hosting an event. So yeah, we do plan on addressing the issue of we're aware of making sure that as a creator you are getting credit, or your world is getting credit for that event.
2020.
2020.
The codex connection for that was planned for the next release. I think there were some other fires that we had to put out, so it may not make the next release or not. It's not a 2020 maybe yes or no thing. It's more of like we're trying to do it as soon as we can.
So in 1919. Wait, 1919. We're going back in time. 2019. Maybe. Okay. Soon. Jacob Ingvarson asks, will the Blasterjacks event be limited to 10 people per instance? I don't think so. Do we know? Does anybody know?
I don't think there are people here who would know. That's the event team, and I don't think they're here.
Oh, I think I know the answer to that. I think it will be bigger than 10 people per instance, actually. I think it's going to be 20. We had some reason we kept the Fnatic event to 10 people per clone, and that was because we had a lot of people in the broadcast instance, and so I don't think we're doing that this time, so I do believe that the maximum amount of avatars per clone instance will be higher than 10. I think it's 20 this time. Wow, guys, I knew something.
Or so.
Okay, next up, Luov Anime. Can we have a wormhole animation that you pass through in the Nexus plane when teleporting between the worlds? It will give the feel that we are making a journey across the universe.
I can answer this one in place of Bowden. So we just made some changes. We added a little bit more of a Nexus feely scene. That is the transition between worlds. You see it more prominently if you're in VR. If you're not in VR, it may not look much different. We prioritize it just to make sure, because I think in VR we just had like a white space that you were traveling through, like the default empty space, and that was not very interesting. Our long-term plan is, yes, we do want to make the feel of traveling throughout Sansar through the blue teleportation energy between worlds. We want to make that feel more prominent when you're loading a new world. As you can imagine, it's not a critical thing that we want to fix right away, but we do intend on getting to it at some point. But for now, we just swapped out the background just to make at least the VR experience feel a little bit more contextual.
All right. Okay, people on Twitch, by the way, we are taking your questions in chat, and we're gathering them. Okay, what else do we have? Adam asks, will it be possible in the future for visitors of an experience to res items on the floor, like chairs, without having to go to the editor, if the creator of an experience allows it? Resing items in an experience. What do we think?
I may not be the best person to answer this, but I think as far as I know, I don't think we're going to head anywhere towards that. I think currently the system really has a dichotomy between editing and, runtime. So I don't think you'll be able to pull chairs anytime soon while you're in runtime.
So I can comment about this a little bit, Kara. So
yeah, sounds good.
Stretch and his team are working on a couple of things, and I think one of the things that we're working on is doing emotes in runtime, so you don't have to go to your character editor to edit emotes. It's something they're going to be working on very soon, but part of that is kind of a precursor to enabling spawning objects in runtime in scenes. So yeah,
sounds good.
We're gonna work on it, but the emotes is a bigger priority for us, but is a stepping stone to get to the broader item res.
All right, next up we have Firegoat Gaming. Any chance we will get a feature to disable overdraw complexity? That way we can hide stuff like Easter eggs in our experience.
Yeah, we can look into that. I think I raised this up to Nix, so we'll see what the team can do about that, and if it's something we'd like to pursue.
Okay, So it's going to Nix. Lucy B asks, can we make custom profile pictures in the future? Maybe with the IG camera. What do we think? Custom profile pictures?
We have not. I don't think we've discussed that internally. It's not really something that's been talked about very much. We can chat about it. Yeah, not really much to say there.
Okay. Granddad got mojo. Question: is bloom baked into the render, or is it a post-processing effect on the client camera that could be changed via a script if implemented? I think we don't actually have our top scripting minds in the room, so that might be something we have to wait till later unless somebody else has an answer to that.
Yeah, I think we'll have to skip that. I think Nix could have answered that question as well, but she's not here currently.
Granddad, if you want to, you can tag Nix in Discord, and maybe Nix will be able to answer that question for you. According to Bina, says that the answer is it's not scriptable. So that's the answer. So the answer is no.
Well, I know it's not scriptable now, but if it's a post-processing effect, could it be made scriptable, or so you could call it through the API?
Okay. Go ahead and ask that, and Bina can answer you in Discord, or if you want to tag Nix as well, they'll try to give you an answer there. And if we get that answer while we're still doing the product meetup, I'll read that answer to everybody. Oh, Bina says the answer is not at the moment, Granddad. Okay. Next up, we have Zarya. Zarya, would it be possible to implement chat bubbles of some sort above a character's head, perhaps replacing the dots we have at the moment? Currently, it can be frustrating to communicate through text chat since many people hide the chat window or don't pay attention to it. I believe having chat messages show up in Engine would help to prevent that issue.
So I can't answer that directly. We don't have plans to put in chat bubbles, but we've definitely talked about it. It's not a simple solution. Rendering new things in world, as I've been doing research for other features, I've been getting not pushback, but it's more like, hey, this is not as simple as it might appear. Especially things that are not just icons, but more dynamic, like text, for example, or things that have to read data from other places. I will say that we would like to. We've generally getting a lot of feedback and questions about better ways to socialize, better ways to chat. How do you want to? Can we group with people? Can we join people in the same instances of certain events? Anything that's social related, ways to improve meeting friends or making friends or talking with friends. Those are things that we're actively thinking about for 2020. We were primarily focusing these last few releases on quests and avatars and the codex and a lot of the content we're putting out, but we're actively trying to find space soon to address a lot of the social features that we want to improve.
All right. Medhu asks, can the lab talk about their philosophy around how they plan on getting users to our world? Anybody?
The best person to talk about that is Starry, and he's not here at the moment. I don't want to speak for him. Bowden is also working on some features to help improve discoverability in the codex. That's when I mentioned about the event fixes. That's one of the things that is vying for the same resource time as well. So we recognize that right now the codex is not as optimized as it can be. We're learning a lot from user testing as well. So yeah, discoverability is a very high priority for Worlds. I can't speak to all of their work. Bowden, Starry is better for the long-term philosophy, and Bowden could talk more about the short-term work that he's doing. Unfortunately, that they're not here at the moment.
I believe Astari has actually covered this before in length at a product meetup that's happened within this month. So Bowden will probably be the one you want to talk to about that because he'll be able to give you those short-term answers. We'll see if we can get Astaria here again, but again, I believe we've covered that before. Tia Winters asks...
Not according to me. I haven't heard anything about how this is going to happen. Because right now, it's very limited where people go.
Well,
that's pretty obvious to everyone, I think.
You asked about the philosophy. I think we've discussed the philosophy before, so we'll wait till Bowden gets back, but I understand where you're coming from here. Okay, next up, Tia. When I log in, I'm arriving at the Nexus, not my home, even though I log out there. Can I arrive back in my home instead?
We've heard your feedback on this. We've sort of said internally when we have time, we will work on an opt-in to say I would prefer to have my default login in home instead of the Nexus. Understand that, especially for new users, this is strange because the home is stylized in a way that's separate. It's different from where we've taken Sansar in the last few releases, but we totally get the convenience of it. We haven't prioritized it yet, but we would like to do that at some point, just allowing an opt-in to go to the home instead of the Nexus.
Okay, Visay asked from Twitch, what about dynamically decreasing LOD inversely proportionate to avatar count inside the world?
That's a Nick's question. Landon, do you have anything you can say on that? Is Landon still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Landon, your mic might have cut off.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Can you rephrase the question?
Visay,
I think I understand the question. It's like we have an LOD system, and it's usually built on how far you are from an object. This one is more about, can we turn down the LOD system when there's only one other avatar in the world versus let's turn up the LOD system when there's 20 avatars.
I mean, it's a little complicated. I mean, I think we are almost certainly going to want to do this dynamically. Like, our first pass is going to be it's obviously all or nothing. But we need to make tweaks to it. But in terms of like making it user configurable, not really something that we're thinking about. We just want to solve on the global use case first.
Okay, cool. And again, just wanted to remind everybody, we're a little short-handed this week because of TwitchCon, so we have a lot of our folks out there, so apologies that we have some of our more technical product folk missing, such as Nix and Bowden. But we'll make sure they're here next time as well. Okay, Lucy B asks, will we ever be able to change outfits and staying in world, so no extra loading screen?
Kara, that would be for you.
Yeah. It's something that we do want to support in the future. It's a little bit difficult to change outfits in world, given that we don't really support clothing simulation in world. As you know, most of the clothing are MD items, and that would be hard to really adjust in world. At the base level, what we're looking into is some kind of I know I think Alex's team is looking into this. In the future, I think we're looking into some kind of ability to change avatars. So if you have a full avatar look that already has clothing, then you can switch between those. But changing clothing will be a little bit more difficult, and maybe if it's something that we do support, will be a little bit more later down the line.
But just as a point of interest, as Landon mentioned, Stretch's team is actively working on being able to swap out emotes while you are in world. And that's sort of our one of our steps towards allowing more editable changes to be applied while in runtime.
Yep.
Okay. Next up we have Luov. How far are we from LOD in worlds? Is it on the 2020 roadmap?
And then, do you know?
Landon, you want to talk about LOD plans?
Yeah, so Avatar LOD, we're trying to get it out in the next release. Still working through it, but I think that's about as far as we can commit on anything that's coming out.
I'm thinking of world, LED in worlds, and the experiences.
Yeah, so like I said, we haven't prioritized that work yet, and right now we're focusing on the avatar LOD just because that's where the kind of the big performance problems are lying, and we want to make sure we get that right before we start tackling something else. I know it's not a very satisfying answer, but that's kind of the way we're approaching the problem.
Yeah, but this is something that's likely to started in 2020. I think that's why I was asked.
I would say it is likely to start in 2020.
Okay.
Okay, great. Next up, we have Asha Sakai. Sorry if this has already been asked. I just got here. If we make rigged clothing now, will we have to re-rig or upload it again once the body deformations are released?
So I actually answered this in Twitch chat, but the answer I gave was you shouldn't have to re-rig the clothing. We're not making any changes in the skeleton, so if you made clothing for the skeleton we have now, it should still work. So we're also going to investigate some research, some R&D on being able to support, rig clothing adjusting if you adjust the body. So if you make the avatar a little bit fatter, then the clothing will adjust with it. This is the same technology that we currently use with avatar hair right now. So if you made a head bigger, the hair should adjust with it. But of course, there's some caveats there where if you really stretch out the body in like weird proportions, then it's possible that there will be poke through. So you shouldn't be. I guess a short answer: you shouldn't be able to rig. You shouldn't be need to rig the clothing, but there are some caveats where it may not look good. But at the base level, it should work.
Okay. Next up, we have Granddad. Would it be possible to have a setting to hide other people's names showing up over their heads in the client so we can make videos where their names are not showing up?
How does Torley manage this in the videos that he produces internally?
The way Torley manages it, I believe, and Torley can correct me
Does
later.
anybody know?
Yeah, the way Torley manages this, and the way that I manage this when I'm making videos for us as well, is that you hide your cursor and you just keep your cursor on the very edge of your screen. So you can see me doing it in Twitch right now if you're watching, but I'm just dragging the screen around, and I use a system OBS where I can hide my cursor so you can't see it. But that's very difficult to do because if I'm scrolling around people, right now I'm going through a crowd, and there's no names popping up, and it's just because I'm using the WASD. Or I've got my cursor at the very bottom of the screen. So, Granddad, you can watch that later if you want to check it out. But it's just a little bit of spatial awareness. That's the workaround right now. I don't know if, yeah, I don't think we actually have a setting that you can turn names off. But I'd be glad to make a little video if somebody wants to learn how to do that. Okay. Drax also would know. Drax makes a lot of videos that we use for marketing purposes. Okay. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Firegoat. Are they going to add lore or some kind of information regarding the Nexus, and will this follow into the quest line? The short answer to that is yes, Firegoat. We're going to have a lot of lore coming out soon. Next question that he's asked. Also, will the quest become more interactive and meaningful? Also, will the levels mean anything at some point, or are they just for show?
The quests will, the content and quests that we're working on for the next several releases will lead into the lore. I know Istari is also working on, revealing more about the lore in other forms than just the quest line. They are also developing more features into the quest so that they will be more interactive. I don't want to get more details into that just yet because I don't know how much that team wants me to reveal. As for levels, will they mean anything? Yes. Right now it's the start of the system, so yes, they are effectively just for show. But we do intend on making the levels more meaningful. We just wanted to make sure to stand up the system first.
Okay. Asha Sakaya, will you ever add a material preview to the import window?
Yeah, and I confirmed this in Twitch chat. So I think Asha Sakai was referring to avatars. So I misread the question earlier. So material preview something I think we need to add in the future, but currently it's not on the roadmap.
Okay, thank you.
Perhaps in 2020. Yeah.
Perhaps in 2020. All right, DNA Elite. At some point, will we be able to offer our whole world templates for sale on the Sansar store?
At some point, yes. We all want to do it, and we've talked about just needing to find a place for that in our roadmap. Yes, we absolutely want to let you guys sell world templates at some point. We just it's not soon, and we still need to resource and plan for it.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Thanks, DNA Elite.
I have a question related to that. Is there a limit to the objects that we can upload at the store? I mean, at the moment, I could group objects in my editor scene, and then I could create a store listing of them and to combine them. Is there a limit of the number of the objects we can combine and sell on the store, or is it limitless at the moment? Because then, in theory, you could save a complete environment already as a group of objects and sell it on the store, or is that not possible?
So I'm not sure if there are any limits, but I can check with the team who implemented it if there are actually any limits. So we'll keep you posted on that. Who mentioned that? Was that?
That was Cerberus.
Cerberus, okay. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Zintri asks, will we have any more quests and levels? Tia's follow-up to that is, I'm not sure if we can make quests that give experience. Max level is 7 now.
Yes, there will be more quests. There will be more levels. I've been the one on record saying that we will allow you to give out items as a result of user-generated quests. We give out items already with some of our Sansar quests. We will be opening up that feature as soon as we can iron out all the bugs. And then quest giving experience, that's to come later. We definitely want to allow that, as well as there's been some discussion on Discord of how to make it balanced. It's a more complicated topic. We do plan on allowing more quests, more levels, and allowing user-created quests to give out items.
All right. Next up is Cerberus. Will the culling system for hiding covered polygons change now that we can move objects away from the avatar through animations? Not sure we have...
Yeah, I don't think we have the proper people here to answer that question.
All right, Cerberus, when we get the right brains in a room, we'll answer that question. Vasey's LED question earlier. More info. Vasey meant forcing LED downs up for lower quality if there's many avatars. Every user would see their avatar in the best quality, but others would be simplified. Maybe disabling additional bones in other avatars would help. For example, when everybody's dancing, there's no need to see a full range of facial emotions. Yep, go ahead.
So Landon, that was a follow-up on the question about LOD earlier.
Yeah, I don't exactly, but certainly can't speak to how the Avatar LOD system is going to work in terms of that particular thing, in terms of facial expressions or bone movements, that sort of thing. Nyx would probably be a better person to answer that once she's back.
Okay. Medhugh asks, question, I hope the lab understands that it is extremely common to accidentally log into the Nexus naked because you were in the middle of editing when you left or crashed. And now you log in, driven to the Nexus naked, and that's what happens. Bag and I are working on avatars, so this happens to us a lot. We are just a good example, though, of normal activity around editing your avatar. Is this what the lab wants? Why is this a priority to stop it from happening? I guess that's what you're asking. So we got a lot of accidental nudes in the Nexus. Are we going to try to stop that?
I mean, we're going to add a mechanism to provide a default location.
Yeah, okay. As we mentioned before, we will allow users who opt into it to go to default into home instead of the Nexus. Yeah, so I don't want to say more about the philosophy of how we want to determine home versus Nexus and where we want new users to go and all that. But we hear the feedback, and we want to allow overrides if you prefer.
All right.
And I think another aspect of that is going to be reducing crashing.
Yes.
Okay, less crashes, less nudes. Sounds great. Zero Cheese. Question following the changing outfits. When you go to edit your clothing and get brought to your lookbook, what about keeping the communication channels open, such as nearby chat and voice? Or at minimum, just nearby chat for the location you were at when you pressed to edit the outfit, so you're not accidentally or totally disconnected from your friends and world. This seems to be the main issue I've heard people complaining about regarding changing outfits while in world.
We've talked about that a little bit internally. We do want to add the chat window in the After Editor. It's something we want to look into probably in 2020. We are doing soon. We're going to do an overhaul of the character editor, and part of that would probably be extending additional buttons to access other features that we currently don't have in the editor that are available elsewhere, such as the chat window. So we're looking into that.
Kara, do you have any sort of idea of what that overhaul entails? Can you speak to it?
It's mostly a UI overhaul. So as we're adding more features, it's getting really cluttered. It's getting really cramped. So we're gonna do a UI refresh is what we're calling it of the editors, just to kind of make it more functional. Also, a little bit so you can see more avatar items in your inventory. For example, I think right now we only have like 2x3 or something like that as the width. So we're expanding that, and then part of that is also like preparing the editor to expand to more features like body deformation, and then later we were thinking about integrating other store elements in there as well, so that your items are exposed a lot more in the editor. So, but we'll talk about that more later.
Okay. Robin asks, can we get in-game notifications that an event has already started if we already clicked interested? I think we covered that at the very beginning of the event, Robin, but you might have missed it.
I can answer that again.
Yep, go for it.
Yeah, in-game notifications, that's more for Bowden. I can talk with him about how that should or shouldn't be working. I totally get that. If you're in-game and an event that you're interested in is happening, we should absolutely find a way to notify you. As I mentioned before, there are web browser-based ways that we support right now that you can get those notifications. You have to go to Sansar.com and go to that event page, and there will be ways for you to mark interested and add it to your third-party calendar or receive browser notifications for that.
Stanley, I see that you've sat yourself in one of the aubergine chairs, which is
it's comfy.
Okay, well, all right. It's just making me uncomfortable over here. Zero Cheese. Stanley, in the future, can we earn XP by attending corporate events such as tonight's Blaster Jacks event? I was talking to Galileo, that's me, about that yesterday.
Yeah, that's one of the we have a running document of XP activities that we'd like to enable in the future. Event attendance is certainly one of those. As I mentioned, we started off by just making sure to stand up the system so that we wanted to make sure it at minimum worked with the quests that we're putting out. But yes, we do want to make the XP system more varied in the future.
Okay, we're nearing the end of our time here. We got a couple more questions. Harlequin XD asks, is it possible one day to have hold on a second. Is it possible that content creators can set up a quest inventory for quests in their worlds? For example, RPG-like elements. Also, custom animations aside from emotes, like walk and jump and run.
The people who would answer that are not here. That would be Alex and Stretch. They are thinking about that sort of use case of, much more customizable worlds with custom animations and items and things like that. There's many steps to go through before getting to that desired outcome, and they are researching some of those early steps right now. That's, I think, the most we can say about that.
Okay. Fire Goat asks in his Morty voice, "Ah, geez, Galileo, are we going to get attachment slots so we can switch from hand from hand to hand or back to the other slots, or giving the custom attachments, custom animations, or particle effects? A couple of questions in there.
So currently we don't have plans of adding new attachment slots. In the past, we talked about removing attachment slots. Now, especially since you have the ability to adjust the positioning of the attachments. As for the second question, giving the custom attachments, custom animations, or particle effects, currently it's not on the immediate roadmap, but maybe in the future.
Okay.
He says like in game.
Oh, in game.
Can you switch from back to hand?
Yeah, in game is more of an Alex and Stretch question, but I think that's what they meant earlier. I think they alluded to, eventually supporting changing emotes in runtime. So I think that's one of the things that we'll probably get in the future from that same technology.
Okay. Morgan asks, any plan to have a system so we can any plans to have a system in order to change diffuse on clothing with scripts or something? Morgan, we don't have our main scripty folks here, so we're going to have to wait on that one. Zintri asks, how are you planning on getting more players to Sansar?
We have a lot of plans on trying to get more players into Sansar. One of those is happening right now, where we have a whole team down at TwitchCon showing off our product. And you can see also some of our events that we have coming up. The Blaster Jacks event happening later today, and we have some Twitch stream events happening as well. So there's a lot of movement on the front of just attracting partners and holding events that would be interesting to new users as well as different audiences that are connected to those partners. Obviously, we cannot announce a lot of these things in things like Product Meetup. We have to announce them when the partner's ready as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. We're seeing a lot of positive movement on the audience engagement and retention side around some of these events. So yeah, we're working on it. It's a multifaceted approach that we're taking on getting more players into Sansar.
You can see the results of some of the work we're doing by the events that happen and by some of the worlds we're opening up. For example, we've been working pretty hard on doing partnerships with Sanrio and Levi's, for example. Getting Blaster Jacks in here is not only working with the label itself, but the artists. You can see some of the big streamers we've had coming in. That's another way of attracting players. We've also been working with esports teams, which is why you see Optic Gaming and Fnatic having events. So there's a lot going on there. And of course, that's just from the partnership and marketing side. We are also working on the product very hard, as you might have been able to tell. So hopefully that will draw folks to the game, to Sansar. I know Drax would yell at me, it's not a game. Okay, to Sansar. Waffle Nerd, this is probably our last question because we got to go eat lunch. Are there any plans to allow the upload of archive formats like Zip Rare or 7Z to help bring in textures for object models?
So I'm not aware if that's on the render team's roadmap, but I can ask Nix later. What I do know is that I think they're about to support JPEGs for textures. I think that was a request in one of the previous product meetups, so I think that's coming in soon if it's not out already.
All right, I think that's what we've got for today. Thank you, everybody, for coming. A lot of great questions. We'll have a full complement of folks here next time for the product meetup. And if you have any questions that did not get answered for whatever reason, go ahead and drop them to me in Discord, and I'll try to get those answers for you. And please remember, we have tons of events going on today, tomorrow, the weekend. Stay around. We have a lot of new users coming in, and one of the best ways that we've found keeps a user around, especially a new user, is if they get to interact with somebody. So if you're around, that means more people that stay in Sansar, which means there's more opportunities for you to create, more opportunities for us to grow our community. So please hang out this week. I mean, all the time, but especially this week.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thanks all.
Right
Cheers,
now would be
y'all.
a good time to drop a portal to your world if you're worried about discovery.
Oh, that's also true.
Ooh, portal battle. Oh, portal battles. That's a cool idea. Go, 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 go. Fire Goat's got us up. Oh, there's 2. Okay, how many are we going to have here? All right, who's going where?
And I love the new look of the portals.
Me too. I think they're so cool.
They're so cool.
I love this idea that you're like a carnival barker. Step right on up. We've got this world here. It's going to be great for you. Can anybody else do that?
No.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Ah, jeez. Galileo.
Cerberus, I have a question for you if you're around. I'll ask you on Discord.
I'm here.
I have a favor to ask, which I know you're excited about.
Same old.
So where do we go now?
Oh, Cerb, what are these things you sent me?
Oh yeah, I've been really bad at that with everybody having that.
I thought it's like, wasn't you asking for the future fashion stuff?
Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, I'll put these in the store. Or in the collection.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm not sure about the thing, the DJ
totally
pult
went
there,
in for
the
like
animated
an
one.
hour or so
That
to
requires
get a bunch of
actually
stuff
2
before
things. Like you
pushing
will
it.
need the DJ pult and the animation.